I would like to talk about difficult conversations and teach you my favorite trick there. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Patrick Stahl and I'm the lead trainer at Perfect Life. Now, difficult conversations are difficult because they're important. Now, if they weren't important, you wouldn't give a shit, so they wouldn't be difficult. When we do difficult conversations, there are a plethora of different theories and methods. I have a very simple one. You focus on the start, the content, and then how you finish it. And you do it specifically. You plan a little bit, but not much. First of all, the start. What's the context? That's the first thing. Well, are you walking talking this, or are you sitting confrontationally on a Zoom or Teams meeting? Or are you sitting on a conference table side by side? What's the context? Maybe you don't have to do it in your office. Maybe you don't have to do it by a desk. So that's the context. The second is always start with the first truth. If it's a difficult conversation, say that. I've been struggling with how to start this conversation. Voila, you have started the conversation. Talk about how you feel, how you relate to the topic. So we have a difficult feedback situation that we have to talk about today, and I'm struggling with how to say this because I think you're a great coworker. Now, when you start with first truth, you expose your vulnerability, that you're no superhuman yourself. You're struggling with some things. And that creates a loop of reciprocity, meaning that the other person also can be vulnerable. So you start the conversation in a much better place. Then we come to the content. First of all, prepare by taking the other person's perspective. What's it like to have a meeting with you? Are you always super enthusiastic? What's it like to be in a meeting with someone who's super enthusiastic? Is there a power distance or power difference? What's the other person's perspective? Try to place yourself in that person's shoes so that you can understand what will it be like to receive this message. And make a few notes. What do you have to consider when you look at the other person's perspective? Good. And then, of course, think, feel, act. Just because you like thinking doesn't mean that the other person is like you. Or just because you're a feeler doesn't mean that everybody else wants to analyze things through their feelings and emotions. So if you process something that is slightly difficult, then you have your way and the other person has their way. So instead of saying, what are your thoughts on that? Then widen the scope. Say, what do you think, or what do you feel, or what do you want to do? Because people tend to have one of those three preferences. Thinking, feeling, and acting, doing stuff. That's how we process difficult messages. Speaking of messages, when it comes to content, there's the third thing. We sometimes get nervous in difficult conversations. Maybe we're not prepared for the other person's reactions. So what you can do is to just have a little cheat sheet with 2-3 bullet points. These are the things that I need to convey, or I need acceptance for these 3 things. 2 or 3 things maximum. If you have 15 things you want the other person to understand and process, then it will be a very long and very difficult meeting. Instead, boil it down to what are my 3 key takeaways that I need to get back to. So even if you get distracted in the middle of the conversation, you still have the power to get back to these and go like, oh yeah, these 3 things. So that's for the content. Then when it comes to the end, how we finish, sometimes we're so relieved that, oh, we had this difficult conversation. Thank God I'm done with it now. No. How do you verify that they understood the message? Now, you can do this in a couple of different ways. You can ask them to summarize, what did we agree on here? Or how would you like to summarize this conversation? Or you can do it yourself. You can say, okay, so what you said was this, and you are going to do this, and then this. Is that correct understanding? Now, it's always better to let the other person summarize. But if they are not in that mode, then sometimes you have to summarize for them and consolidate what took place in this meeting. So that's one verification. The other one is, how do you know that they're actually doing or thinking or understanding this thing that we agreed on? So when will you circle back to it? So finish with, will we have a new conversation in 2 weeks? How is the Thursday after that? so that you know that they have verified the message, but you also have a touch point where you can come back and see, did we reach that end in mind that we had? So that's it. It doesn't have to be harder than that. You just have a good start, some sort of clear content, and how to verify it at the end. Start, content, end. You got it in the notes here also. Good luck.